Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Conversation with me, your host, Kathy Jackson. Wow, that coloring on my computer just went weird. It's all yellowy. Don't know what that is about. Maybe that's the problem. I keep denying the need for these glasses, but it proves they prove useful every day. So, welcome, guys. Welcome. I am excited about today's topic, the one thing that you need to do to change your life and move it forward and make it the life that you've always imagined. Guys, it's a secret, but it's really not so much a secret. It's more or less that you probably haven't thought about it thoroughly. So we're going to get into it. The reason why I'm excited about talking about this subject of what the one thing that you need in order to move forward is because as I go to different coaching programs, I listen to different videos and I watch a lot of lives and the one common theme that I hear mostly from women, but from a lot of people is that they feel stuck. Anybody out there ever feel stuck? First of all, say hi, guys. I see some of you have joined me and I appreciate it. Say hi. Let me know you're watching. There is a delay by the time you type it and when I see it, but I definitely go back and look at all the comments later. So say hi, let me know you there. And then if you've ever felt stuck about something, let me know that. Say me, yeah, me, I felt stuck. Some people have felt stuck in relationships. Some people have felt stuck in their career. Some people have felt stuck in a life that is just not pleasing. Hi, Nashika. You feel stuck now? Hey, Jackie. Hey, Leslie. Thank you guys for saying hi. Listen, if you feel stuck now, you are in the right place because we're going to deal with that today. There is a secret to getting unstuck. And for those of you who might not know it, or you might not, maybe you're not there at the moment, but feeling stuck, it's like you're in the mud, you're trying to pull, let's say quicksand. I've never been stuck in quicksand, but I understand mud a little bit better, but I've seen quicksand on TV. But you're stuck and you move and you just can't get out. You feel like you just can't move any further. But why is that? Why do you feel stuck? Hold on, I'm going to have to pull up my notes because I want to make sure I give you the goods. So this is what happens when you're feeling stuck. Like, you know that you want to move. There's something else that you want to do. There's a feeling that's pulling you to do something more. Maybe you want to earn more money, get a new job, get out of a relationship, get into a relationship, be healthier, and you want to do these things and you have a strong desire. The reason you feel stuck is because you have a strong desire to move from where you are, but that mud, that quicksand, it is keeping you there. You start thinking, as soon as you decide you want to step out and let's say you want to start a new business, you're excited. I will start this business. You got an idea. And then the very next thought is, oh my God, this is terrifying, right? You start to get scared. Like I'm scared. And then follow that thought. What are you scared of? You're scared that maybe you don't have what it takes to be successful. You're scared that you don't have enough money, or then you start playing the what if game. What if I fail? What if I try it and it doesn't work out? What if I go broke? What if people laugh at me? What if I look weird, and you start going down that rabbit hole of negative thoughts, of, I don't know anybody who's ever done it. I don't know if I can have any help. I've got too much on my plate, and you can start coming up with reason after reason, excuse after excuse as to why you can't move forward. And then you're stuck. So I'm going to give you the secret, but I want to tell you what I found. Like, I found myself going down that rabbit hole years ago. Hey, Natalie. Years ago, I worked in a job that I hated. Well, I worked there 8 years. The first 3 years was actually kind of interesting. And then after that, I kind of outgrew it and I wanted to move on, but I was stuck. Now, why was I stuck? Because I was terrified about interviewing. Believe it or not, for those of you who know me, you know that I built my career after that as a recruiter, and my job was to interview people for jobs and teach people how to get jobs. So, that just shows you when you're stuck, it's just in your head. Like, I was afraid to interview at that time to the point of tears. And so when I would think about going on a job interview, I would freeze up. And rather than put myself in a position well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, put myself in a position to get rejected, then I would just stay back at the job that I hate. And I did that for 5 years. 5 years. So listen, I wanted to string y'all along with the one thing that you need to do in order to change your life so I could keep y'all on here longer. But I got to give it to you because I want to break it down. So the one thing that you need to do in order to move your life forward is simply change your mind, change your thoughts. Like, my thoughts of going to an interview had me in such fear. I was afraid they'd say no, and so I wouldn't go. But here's what happened when I finally changed my thought. And I'll tell you what brought me to that point was I just simply, I couldn't, the level of which I hated being at that job outweighed my fear of going to a job interview and possibly getting rejected. And that's what finally pushed me to move. I didn't move on my own. I went on maternity leave. I had my son. And when I went on maternity leave, I was like, I can't go back to that job. I didn't know what was in front of me, but I changed my thought. That's what I did. Like, I'm hanging on to this job because I'm scared. And I changed my thought to, I can no longer be at that job. I don't know what awaits me, but I've got to find out. It's got to be something better. Guys, it sounds simple. And it sounds like, oh, I've heard that, but how do I do that? You replace your old thought with a new thought. See, it's a rabbit hole. You start with, I want to do something, and then you go with, oh, but what if it's not successful? And then you say, well, these are the questions you ask yourself. And here's the secret. You have got to start asking yourself better questions. Instead of saying, what if it fails? What if people laugh at me? What if I lose all my money? When you start thinking like that, you ask yourself questions, and your inner self is going to answer them. Guys, we have a inner being that if you sit still and listen, it directs us. It answers our questions, but if you ask a bad question, you're going to get a bad answer. Why is it that, and Natalie says, and you have to do it scared. Oh my God, you have to do it scared. You have to. If it don't scare you, it's no fun. When you get to the other side, it's a lot more fun. But here, hey, Sam, thank you. Here's the thing. Hold on, I want to go to my notes because I could get off talking on a tangent, and I did succinctly have this planned out. Here's the thing is you have to understand where that thought came from and why would you let that thought keep you stuck? because the reality is it's just a thought. It's not the truth. Let me break it down like this. I actually teach this course to my students when I have teen students, and I do an art therapy course. And I'm going to show you a little diagram that I put together that helps them to understand it. I'm trying to find you guys. I had switched to my notes and now I can't see you. Okay, there you go. It helps break it down a little bit better. So let's see. I'll do this one. So when I'm done teaching this, then we all come together and we do this puzzle. We paint this puzzle. So here's the thing. It might be a little bit backwards. Yeah. Okay. So your thoughts, they come from your belief system. And your belief systems, they come from your past. They come from experiences that you have. And the experiences that you have, you assign something to them. So in the example that I gave with me wanting to leave the job, but terrified of interviewing, why, if I asked myself, and I did, why are you afraid to interview? And I said, and myself told me, because you don't want to get rejected. Why would you think you need to be rejected? This is me talking to me. And then I said, because the last time I did it, they rejected me. They didn't hire me. They told me that I didn't meet the qualifications. And what happened when they told you that, self? It hurt. And I don't ever want to feel like that again. So you mean to tell me that you're going to stay on a job that you hate? You know you're overqualified. The manager is not as intelligent as you. There's no room for growth. They're never going to pay you what you're worth. And every single day you hate to go. And you're going to sit and suffer through that because they hurt your feelings once on a job interview and you didn't get the job. So it's just a matter of changing your mind. In that scenario, what would you do? You need to ask yourself, okay, you didn't get the job, but what did they say? You weren't qualified. Now, the right question to ask is not why didn't I get the job or why do they always turn me down, but what does qualified look like? Does this make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if this makes sense. What does qualify? See, when you ask yourself a good question, now your brain is a goal-seeking machine. You have set a goal of finding out what qualified looks like, and your brain is now saying, okay, for this position, you know, they want someone with a degree. They want someone with this many years of experience. What am I missing from that? You know, so you find what you're missing from that. Thank you guys. Thumbs up. Thank you guys. You find what you're missing from that. And now you say to yourself, what do we need to get that experience, to get that education, to show that we're qualified? So now you're asking good questions because now your brain is saying, okay, what do we need? Who do we know that works in that industry? Who can we get as a mentor? See, now you're asking good questions instead of saying, why does it always happen to me? How come I'm never the chosen one? How come everybody can get a new job but me? How come everybody can start a business? Why do I those are bad questions. What do I need to get a new job? What qualifications? Start asking better questions. So it's all about your belief system and setting you up. I believe because I had a bad experience one time or maybe two times where I didn't get picked for the job and I really wanted it, that my feelings were hurt. And so in order to guard my feelings, I'm never doing interviews again. Once I get a job, I'm just going to stay on that job. And then, they treat you like crap, but I'm just going to stay there because I didn't want to interview. But as you know, the story, so that was many, many years ago. So the story turns out I learned how to interview. I learned so well that I built a career on interviewing people. And I used to teach people how to interview, and my thoughts changed over time because at each time that I learned a new skill, there are books on how to interview. Anything that you're trying to do, there are books on it, there are videos on it, there's coaching, there's someone out there who can help mentor you. And once you start looking for how you can overcome whatever has you stuck, you start asking better questions. Just change your thought. Guys, whenever the thought comes, I'm not good enough, investigate that. Ask yourself, now, why do you think you're not good enough? And sit and wait for an answer. Because your mom and your dad told you you'd never amount to nothing? Because the teacher said you weren't smart? Natalie say go to YouTube University. You can find everything on there. I promise you can. Why do you think you're not good enough? You go down that track and you explore that. So those things, when you say you're stuck, whatever it is that you're trying to do, I want you to think about, what outcome do you want? When you decide that you want a business or you want a relationship or you want to get out of a toxic relationship, or you want to save money, you want to be healthier, you ask yourself, what is preventing me from doing it? Getting healthy, losing weight, that's a big one. That was a common one. So then just ask yourself, like, what can I do to make healthier choices? Don't try and bite. Don't try and bite the whole elephant. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You can't try and eat it all at one time. So I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. I called my sister this morning because I wanted to use her as an example of a person who changed their mind and started doing something. Why? Because my sister is a new author. Hey, Rick. My sister is a new author. I'm going to plug her, even though she wasn't very much help, she thought this morning when I called her. This is her book that's been out now. It's called Then Came You by Natalie Murphy. Nat, I'm plugging you. Go on and put your information, how they can get your book. My sister wrote this book during the pandemic. Now, we didn't even know the girl could write. I almost didn't know she could read. Just joking. We sisters. So, but pull that out of there. So she wrote this book, and I'll tell you what else. She had, this book is out, and and this book is good. It is really good. It's a romance novel. I personally am not into romance novels these days, but I had to read it because my sister wrote it. Absolutely great writing. I'm shocked every day. But not only did she write this book, but she has a new book coming out. It's at the publishers now, and I'm almost finished reading it. No, Natalie, I haven't finished it. I got about that much left. It's good. And that one's going to be coming out soon, and she is working on a sequel. Now, this is a person who has not written a book I ain't gonna give her age, but the first half of her life, and let's just say all her kids just about are grown. So what changed her mind? This is where I called her for her help, and she was absolutely none. I was like, so Natalie, what changed? What thought? Because clearly something changed right here to make her go from never writing anything to now writing and publishing multiple books, right? And so we were talking, and I was asking her questions, and she was saying, I don't know, the stories were just in my head. And she said, and she couldn't shake them. And she was like, the stories were just there, and she didn't want to write the book. As a matter of fact, she was like, no, Lord, I'm not writing the book. That's too much work. I don't want to do all that. Plus, there's the fear of putting yourself out there for rejection and ridicule because people are going to now come into your world based on your thoughts, right? And she didn't want to do that. And I said, well, Natalie, what made you decide to do it? What new thoughts did you have? She said, I didn't. It just wouldn't leave me alone. The books kept coming at her. And so she finally got up and just started writing. But I told her when we got off the phone, before we got off the phone, I said, you were absolutely no help whatsoever. I was trying to use you in my conversation today and you were no help. She was like, I know. But after I thought about it, after we got off the phone, she actually was. Because see, that thing that you should be doing, if you're not sure of what it is, that thing that is pulling you in a certain direction, that's the thing that you should start exploring. Like the example I gave you when I worked on that job, I was being pulled away from it because it was so degrading. I felt degraded going to that job. I'm not saying I'm on a high horse, but it just was no challenge to it. I could do it in my sleep. They didn't respect my genius. I had outgrown it. That's a better way to say it. I had outgrown it. And I stayed there because I was scared, but I was being pushed away from it on every turn until I finally made a decision that enough was enough. That I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of that job, until the point that I just didn't go back. Right. So Natalie got sick and tired of this pull on her to write this story until she started writing it. And then her next thought was, I wonder what happens if I push it out there to the world, if I really put it out there. So she doesn't think that she had any major thoughts, and she didn't have major thoughts. And that's the key. Guys, you don't have to eat the whole elephant, one bite at a time. Just think about when you want to do something, what's the next best step? Like, what's the next right step that I should take? Don't worry about, she didn't go at it like, I want to be a world famous author, although I believe she will be. But what she did was like get the story out of her head. And then once she got it out of her head and onto paper, she says, let me see what people think about it. And she pushed it out. And now it's published. Now she's got a second book coming out. And I don't know if she wanted me to tell it, but she's writing a third. I think I already told it, but oh well. Anywho, all because she decided to do what she was being pushed by her inner spirit to do. And guys, you are being pushed by your inner spirit to do something. You don't have to go full out and figure out how it looks in the end. Just right now, make a decision to explore the thought. If you're stuck, find out, think about why do I feel stuck? Ask yourself that question. Why do I feel stuck? What am I afraid of? Am I afraid I'm not good enough? Am I afraid I'm not going to make any money? And when you figure out what that thing is that has you stuck, it's fear. But specifically what that fear is, ask yourself, why does this fear have to be true? Write the vision and make it plain. That's what the Bible says, and I stand in agreement. Guys, write down what your fear is, what your real fear is. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you made a move? And then think about what's the best thing that could happen if you made a move. And then just figure out, don't figure out the whole thing just like, okay, self, why are you afraid? And you're going to get the answer. And then say, you know what? That's not true. It's only true if you believe it to be true. You're not good enough. It's only true if you believe it to be true. Nobody's going to hire me. I don't know how to interview. They're going to turn me down and reject me. Oh my God, that was wrong on so many levels. And since then, I have had job after job after job of my choosing. And my new reality about jobs, if I wanted one, is I live in Chicago and I look downtown, and downtown Chicago has all these beautiful skyscrapers, these buildings. And what I know is that every single window, each window of a downtown business represents a job opportunity. And out of all of those windows, I know that somebody will hire me. I am confident that I can find a job in one of those windows. And I haven't even looked at the suburbs. That's just downtown Chicago. So you see, my outlook, my view, my thought about finding a job, they've changed. And when they change, eventually your situation changes. And guys, you just have to start thinking better thoughts on a daily basis. So every single time, because it's not an overnight success. It's not, you're not going to automatically become a different person or get unstuck just like that, hop out the mud. You know, you got to shake that mud off. You got to wipe it off. You got to clean it up. You know, stump around a little bit. It don't just drop off automatically. It takes some work. But the work is working on your mind. It's not actually necessarily going out doing the actions. The actions are going to come once you change your mind. So, once you change your mind. So I want to give you just a real quick, I'm going to go through my whole little puzzle piece because this is how the brain works. This is how the mind works. And anyway, I'll just do it. I have a whole workshop I do around this. But first of all, beliefs are simply decisions. Whatever you make a decision, when I decided that I was good enough to get a job and that somebody would be lucky to hire me, then I had absolutely no trouble finding a job. I can find a job anytime I want to because I have a new belief system. And now, now that I believe that my thoughts follow it, like, well, I believe I can get a job. So okay, this is not good. I'm trying to get this translation in here, but I'm going to teach it to you the way I teach it to my students, right? I used to do it by the fact about dogs. Like if you had a good experience with dogs when you were little, your first experience as a kid, they licked you, they kissed you, you believe that dogs are good. So whenever you see a dog, this is what I'm trying to do. Wherever you see a dog, your brain starts saying, what do you know about dogs? Dogs are good. And so then you start feeling good about being in the presence of the dog and you pet them, and that's the action that you take because feelings make you move. Emotions emote that makes you move. And so when you move, you take action. You pet the dog, and because you come with a friendly demeanor, the dog likes you, licks you, and now the dog, as a result, the dog has backed up your initial beliefs that dogs are good. And so you walk away, your belief system has been reinforced. Me, on the other hand, I had a couple of bad experiences with dogs when I was little. 2 dogs chased me and attacked me. And so I think dogs are vicious and that you need to beware. So that's what I believe. That's what I used to believe about dogs. But for this is what I believe about dogs. So whenever I see a dog, my thought is be careful, watch where they go, be ready to run. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, be on guard because I think dogs are vicious. And my feelings are heightened. And as we all know, dogs can sense that, right? I'm feeling nervous because I'm around a dog. And so my actions when those dogs chased me, because I ran because I was afraid, right? So the dogs chased me. And that reinforced my result of dogs are bad. Now, the reality is, are dogs good or are dogs bad? All dogs are different. There is no one truth. It is only true if you believe it to be true. So if you want to have different result in your life, you want to change your life, you have to make new decisions. You have to make a new decision and design a new belief system. Oh, that's what, new decision. You got to make a new decision. So I have recently been using this example of dogs, and I always say my new belief is that all dogs aren't bad. And how do I know all dogs aren't bad? Because I have a couple of girlfriends who I visit their homes and they have dogs, and, you know, their dogs are cool. So now I have a new belief system that all dogs are not bad. So when I see a dog, my brain says, what do we know about dogs? They're not all bad. Check the situation. I'm still a little leery. Check the situation. And then from there, I make a decision, of how they are. And so proof of that, a guy had it truly was a puppy, guys, but I just had this thing about dogs. So it was a little puppy and he didn't have it on a leash. And my thought, I know when I get out of my car, this dog gonna run up to me. Sure enough, that puppy ran up to me and all over my foot. And the owner, dog owners, you all think that's cute. So I just held myself. I was like, all dogs aren't bad. All dogs aren't bad. This is a little puppy. He's just on my pants leg. And all the way till I walked to my door. And then finally the owner got the dogs. Told him, you can't go in there with her. And I wanted to say all along, you need that dog on a leash. But at any rate, I felt good about the situation because I didn't freak out and panic like I ordinarily would, because I started letting myself have a new belief that all dogs aren't bad and that I should, give each dog a chance because they are individuals, Anywho, so that's pretty much what I wanted to share. And I shared this whole concept. I do it a little bit more in depth when I'm working with the kids, and we have a little bit more fun. And here's one. We got like pretty pictures on it. I just wanted y'all to know that I was a better artist than what y'all saw right there. Ego. But anywho, I want to thank you guys for listening. And I want you guys to go out and I want you to start making new decisions that favor the life that you want to lead. Somebody told me you were stuck today. I want you to explore why you're stuck. I want you to really write down what exactly is it that's making me stuck. And I want you to then say, why do you believe that, self? And then let yourself answer. And then decide that it's not true. And what I want you to do is every time you think of that, like, I'm not good enough, I want you to say the opposite. You know what? I am good enough. How do you know? Because I'm a child of God and God don't make any mistakes. And then find somebody else that's doing it and say, if they can do it, I can do it. And here's the thing. Ask yourself, how can I do it? That's a good question. How can I do it? When you start asking how, then your brain is going to start figuring out ways that you can do it. That's a good question. How can I do it? How can I get unstuck? So the one thing you need to change your life is to make yourself have a new thought and do it every day. Write it down. Think about it every day repetitively. And that is going to move you into don't worry about how it's going to move you into a new space. Just start changing your thoughts on a daily basis to more positive, and you will see the results. I want to thank you guys for listening, joining me for coffee and conversation, and I will see you guys next week.